What's going on YouTube? It went from real hot to real cold, real fast here in Ohio. I mean, like almost overnight. It is chilly out here, but it's not gonna stop us from heading up to the thrift store. So in this video, you're gonna see an old style return that I haven't sourced in a while. You're gonna see some pretty cool mugs that I found. We're gonna talk about cast iron, and we got a bunch more in between. So let's get shopping. All right, we're going to start off in the media section. I found a couple of PC games. We'll talk about this one in just a second, but the next game I grab is the one we're going to take home. This is House of the Dead from Sega. It's a PC-only game, and it looks like there was a recent comparable for around $22 or so. So I'm going to land in the probably $20 to $25 range. The disc is impeccable, and it's spooky season. So even though video games typically do well year-round, I think I get a little bit of a boost because we're in October. Motocross Madness, I looked this one up. Doesn't look like it has any value, so I'm going to leave that behind. I think media is $2.99 in this location, so I'm going to spend $3. It will likely sell between $20 and $25. I'm very satisfied with that, and I do think that that sells in October. I've been wrong before, but I'm hoping that because it's close to Halloween, we can move that quickly. I'm gonna check here. Anytime I see games and media that you don't normally see, I have to check the rest very thoroughly because it's likely something else slipped through the cracks. Not that time, but I do like that game. Next thing here, the strategy I'm gonna employ with this Tanqueray hat is I'm going to position it because there's only about 15 to 20 Tanqueray hat listings, but if you look at the colorway, it's green and white, and that's sort of the original colorway of the Tanqueray bottle. So I'm going to out-picture everybody. No one's going to have a listing that looks like mine, and I'm going to out-keyword everybody. And so in my description, I'll have things along the lines of original colorway, whatever the fabric was, the make of the hat, I will play on that a little bit, and the fact that it's in excellent condition. So I think I'm going to list that at $30. I want that to be the one of, if not the highest price listings for Tanqueray hats. And again, because of the way I'm going to position it with pictures and with keywords, I expect it to sell between $25 and $30, depending on if somebody catches an offer that I may send that somebody hits if they are a watcher on the listing. So if you're new, that maybe that's not a strategy you want to try to employ, and you can move over to other things that are more of a guarantee, because there are no exact comparables that I could find for that Tanqueray hat. But just to give you some insider sort of insight to where I'm going to position that one, that's how we're going to play this listing. So I'm going to move on here. I love when I find fast-selling, up-and-coming brands. Ufos is one of those brands right now. These are recovery slides, and I'm just checking to see if maybe there's another pair or two underneath before we take a look at these. But these are the Ooh La La slides, and there's two things here. They're a men's size 9 and a women's size 11. I'm going to market them as a women's 11. I think I sell them quicker, and if you look at the bottoms, they were barely worn, so they're in really nice condition. I think that I can get $40 either way, but in my listing, I'm going to make this a woman's listing, a size 11. You can see some comps on the screen, and I think I get $40 for those just because they're in such nice condition. I might even be able to ship these first class. I forget if they go over or they stay under. But so if that is the case, I can ship them for $5, or I'm going to charge them $5 regardless of where they are in America, and fast sellers. So that was a fantastic find. And then up here, there's a couple of items that maybe not. There's some Echo sandals right there that I passed on. There was a dog, looked like a dog leash or dog collar, something along those lines that was really only worth $15, $20. So I'm going to leave all of that behind. But Ufos is such a good and fast seller. So keep your eye out for those. That's only going to cost me $5.30, I think, in this store. So to get 40 is fantastic. And then lucky find here, Le Creuset. This is a number 20, just double spout, enameled pan, and the color here is the iconic volcanic flame. I see a comparable that has just sold one for $48. If you look at that comparable, it looks like my exterior, the paint job is a little bit better, but they seasoned their interior, and you can see there's a little bit of wear on the inside of the pan. So depending on whether I season it or not, I might not. I will probably list that in the $40 to $45 range as well. I'm definitely going to ask $45 if I season it and it comes out just looking a little bit better. So that's probably the case, but that's a great find, and lucky that the pan sits flat and the color looks great. There's hardly any chips. It looked a lot better, at least on the outside, than the comparable that I'm going up against that has already sold. So good find there. I'm looking at some of the flatware and some silverware. I don't see anything here that I recognize has value, so we'll have to move on. But 2 back-to-back, hopefully really quick sellers. A couple of interesting mugs I've never seen before here. Le Poulet and L'Escargot from Taylor and NG. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. This first one here looks like it's going to get me about $25. Each one of these is going to cost $2.99. At the time, I couldn't really figure out what was going on here. That one is from $79. It's the one that you don't see right there that is actually the more valuable one from 1978. That one sold recently as high as $59. That's where I'm going to list mine at. 55, 59. There's plenty in the $40 range for that brown one. There is also a blue version, I believe, of both of those that is also very popular, but great mugs. 25 on the first one and then almost 60 on the second one. Those were very lucky finds. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes I don't know what possesses me to pick things up. Like this one here, that Amphora mug. I looked that up. There was a set listed of both of them for $30, but I hadn't seen any solds. And sometimes it's just pick something up if you don't recognize it. Run comps, you're pleasantly surprised. That was it. That was just dumb luck, but those mugs are going to both sell pretty quickly, and excellent finds. Couple things I'm not going to pick up here, marketing the core. I don't do textbooks at all. I don't want to get involved in Veros, and the textbook companies are pretty vicious, at least in my experience, when it comes to trying to take down listings, so I don't mess with them anymore. And then there was a pair of Birkenstocks here. Like, I went back and forth. I feel like in earlier times I would have picked these up even with wear, but nowadays I want them to be in, for my sake only, a little bit better condition. Plus we're moving out of season for a lot of the United States, so I'm leaving those behind. I'm sure at some point they would sell, but I feel like I have enough of that already, and I want something that I can get for a little bit higher dollar amount. Like maybe I could get 20, 25 for those, so I'm leaving those behind. I'm also leaving this Nick Cannon movie behind. I wonder how many people he got pregnant in this one. Drumline, never really heard of it, but leaving that behind, even though it was sealed. The sealed VHS market is still going well. If you believe that guy has children with Mariah Carey, like what? I don't, I'll never understand. I don't question it, but I'm not buying that movie, and that's the point. So we're gonna move on, look and see if there's any Christmas items here that look interesting. There were some Lamax towards the bottom, but I think they had them all kind of marked up like in the $15, $20 range, and none of them really standing out as they would be worth more than $30 or $40. So I'm looking for a little bit better of a return on some of that. You can see one at the bottom. I don't remember what the name of that one was, but and then I took a look at this. I think this is Wasaki, it's Charles Wasaki. I didn't run comps on it, and so if you recognize that this has value and you're local, come and scoop it up. I have sold a couple of his fall/October/Halloween pictures before. I got one at a garage sale I paid $10 for, and I think I sold that one for $80 or so. So I do look up some of his art, but I glanced over that one, passed on it. Art's really not my speed. So there's a lot of things that I'm likely to miss, that it just kind of is what it is. I don't have the knowledge for it, and I'm not really taking the time to learn it. So Wasaki, I think that's who that was, but we're leaving it behind. Someone else can grab that. I'm going to grab this here. This Panasonic, anytime you see that blue line underneath the Omnivision VHS where the tape goes in, it's usually a good sign. And so I'm just testing this without the television here, but it looks like even though the display is a little bit faded, PV-7450 is the style number on this, and it comes with the remote. And I will also add a blank VHS for somebody, as well as the AV cables. So I'm thinking that they want $10 for this. I can probably get $70, maybe even more for the unit because of all of the extras that will come with it. Normally, if it didn't come with those things, I'd probably leave it behind. But yeah, I'm going to grab that one. Good pickup. And then it wouldn't be a Dad Planet video if the shocks hadn't made a return. It has been, I'm going to say, maybe four months since I found a pair of shocks. These, I don't remember the exact style these are called, but if you looked at the soles, boy, they were in fantastic condition. This is a women's size 8. I've looked at all of the listings for this one. It's 343907-111. There's about 11 or so listed. There may have been a size 8, but just looking at all 11 competitors, I've got them all beat once I do my pictures. And I think $45 sells them in a reasonable amount of time. So awesome find there. And I think that's going to be it for this trip. Let's total everything up here. I spent $42 and my total listed value for everything comes to $335. I've had a few people ask how I season cast iron pans in previous videos where I had talked about even just lightly restoring them. So I'm going to show you what my process is. Again, where I can, I keep everything very simple. So let's take a look at that now. So I have the pan on medium heat right now. I have it on 5. I'm going to let it get nice and warm. Doesn't feel like we're quite there yet. The 2 ingredients that I'm going to use coarse kosher salt, and I'm just going to put a little bit of vegetable oil. You never want to use olive oil because it will burn, especially if you season a pan in the oven after you do it on the countertop. I'm just going to do it on the stovetop right here just to see if I can improve it a little bit without spending a ton of time on it. So let's see what happens. Once this gets hot, I'll add a little bit of the vegetable oil, just a small amount to coat it, get it nice and warm, and then I'm going to take a paper towel with the salt, add a little bit of the salt, and just rub it a little bit, and we'll see what happens. This is what the pan looks like heated, so I'm just removing it from the heat. I'm doing this with one hand, obviously, so unfortunately, I'm out of paper towels. I don't suggest you using napkins, but it's all I've got. So I'm gonna start rubbing this around and remove it from the heat here, so it's gonna be nice and warm. And I'm just going to go very easy around the edges here, and if it gets a little bit messy, it is what it is, but this is the best way that I've learned to like clean these the easiest, and I'm sure there's people out there watching that have a better system for this, but this is the one I like, because again, I'm not trying to completely restore this. I just want it good enough for better pictures, a little bit better conditions, so that I can kind of max out what I charge for it. So I'll show you what it looks like at the end. And then here is the final product. So you can see it's got a little bit of a, I don't know if I call this a glow, but it definitely resembles the comparable. So it looks like you're leaving a little bit of the oil in there. And in my description, I will likely mention that this was just lightly seasoned. So, but it looks, again, a lot better already. And of course, the paint job on the outside still looks really great. So this is ready to be photographed. And again, I think $45 is more than fair at this point. So I try to keep it simple where I can, and that's just a very fast and simple way to lightly season a cast iron pan. All right, I will announce the giveaway for the Queen Bee bag and pouch in my next video. So we're not doing that in this video, but I thank you all for watching. Brennan here, Dad Planet, the One Man Show. That's all I've got for you today, and I'll see you in the next video.